I flip 15 houses a year and I spend less time on each one than I did on my very first flip. Most people think the only way to scale is to work harder, faster, and longer hours. But the truth? Scaling your flips isn't about doing more, but it's about doing less, by relying on your team and letting your team take the charge. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly who you need on your team to scale to 15 plus flips a year, and how exactly I built this setup after burning out trying to do everything on my own. My first unofficial flip was a fixer-upper condo I purchased as a rental property. It was very small, about 500 square feet, one bedroom, one bath condo in San Francisco. It was before I started flipping houses full-time and well before I set up a team or a system. It had a tiny old kitchen and gross carpet. We planned to gut the kitchen and replace the flooring, so the scope of work isn't a lot. But I thought it would be too expensive to hire a professional contractor to do the job. So me and my then boyfriend, now husband, decided to take it on our own to do all the work. It was a big mistake. We were both working full-time at the time and we had to slave ourselves for 2 weekends just to demo the tiny kitchen. It took even longer to put in new cabinets, countertops, appliances, put in new flooring, and also to paint the interior. And the whole project took about 2 months. We didn't just sacrifice our weekends for 2 months, but we also had to buy new tools that we didn't own to complete the job. And on top of that, we hated ourselves during the renovation and almost broke up. After everything was done, I realized that if we had hired professionals to do the work, we could have completed the job way faster and we would have saved a lot of precious time that we could have used on a lot of different tasks that would have yielded much better return. That was a big wake-up call for me, and I learned that real estate investing isn't about hustling harder, and scaling doesn't come from grinding, it comes from delegation. Speaking of delegation, the first key role on my team is my real estate agent. Your real estate agent is your deal engine. A house flip starts from a deal, and my agents are the ones who bring me the deals. A good agent sells a lot of houses a year, and they also have a vast network of other agents who can also source deals. So my real estate agents bring me pre-market listings, run comps to help me determine the after repair value, and also put together very aggressive offers in a timely fashion. Good agents also know the local market better than anyone else, and they watch the market closely and can inform you of any shifts in the market, so you make sure that all the flips you buy are worthwhile. Some real estate investors try to bypass a real estate agent by becoming a real estate agent to avoid the commission or by sourcing deals on their own. An agent charges 2.5% of the purchase price, which in my opinion is a small price to pay for all the service they provide. If you try to be a real estate agent on your own, then you have to know the ins and outs about all the local markets you operate in and have to build your own network of agents from scratch. Both of these are very difficult and take years to achieve. So in my opinion, a good agent isn't a commission taker, but they are your great deal finder. The second key role on my team is my contractor, and that's my execution arm. Without a good contractor that you trust, your flip falls apart, literally. I use a main general contractor and a backup contractor for overflow. Both of these general contractors have big crews that can take on multiple projects at once. When I first start working with a contractor, I tend to develop very detailed scope of work and I go check on the job sites very frequently. But after I've worked with the same contractor for a few times, I tend to delegate a lot of the project managements to them so that I only have to visit the job site in the key moments of a project. These key moments are project acquisition, when we determine the scope of work, and when the job is halfway done, when the rough plumbing and electrical is in place, so I can determine the finished materials, and when the project is almost finished, so I go to the job site to check on the finishes. So in the project's lifetime of 3 to 4 months, I'm only on site about 3 to 4 times. If I were still operating the same way as I did on my first unofficial flip, I would only be doing 1 flip at a time, not 8 to 10 like what I'm doing now. I would have wasted a ton of time and also a ton of opportunities. Because you delegate the cost, speed, and quality of a project to your general contractor, they're really an essential role on your team. The third key role on your team is your sales team, and they are the ones who maximize your profits for you. When the renovation is all done, the process is not over yet because you have to package the flip and sell it to an ideal buyer as soon as possible. My sales team includes a stager who help furnish and decorate a home so the buyers can envision themselves living in the house, and also the staging will ensure that the home will pop on camera. The second sales team member is a photographer. Not any photographer, but a professional real estate photographer. They know how to shoot the house like a magazine, and they highlight all the key features of a home and make it light and bright. The third person on the sales team is a real estate agent who list and market the house to get top dollar and also negotiate a real estate transaction to make sure me as the seller can get the most out of the sale. We already talked about how important real estate agents are in my house flipping business, and in this sale process, the good agents really shine. I used to think that the market determines the sale price of a property, but time after time again, I realized that a good agent, the way they show a house, the way they communicate with potential buyers really carries a lot of weight and can influence the final sale price of a home. All in all, my sales team is so crucial in selling my flips for top dollar because if a property is not packaged right and the first impression matters so much, so if a house looks like every other house on the market, then it would sell like every other house, slow and cheap. So what do you do when you have all your team members in place? I use a simple system. My agent finds, my contractor builds, and my sales team sells. My whole team allows me to stay out of the weeds and focus on only the high-level strategy. I make sure that I have enough funding and only work on the most profitable deals. So the key to flipping 15 plus houses a year is one strategy, one team. That's how you build a business, not a side hustle. You don't need to be the best at every part of the process. You just need to hire the people who are. And when you build that team, the strategy becomes simple. Deals in, profit out. That's how I scaled. In the next instructional video, I'm going to break down the most important step in the house flipping process. How to find a profitable deal in any market. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to check out my latest flip before and after by tapping on the video on the screen. See you next time.